Maintenance costs are exploding. Infrastructure is aging faster than it can be repaired. What was once the dream of the urban core is quietly turning into a financial liability. Remote work has severed the cord that tied millions to the concrete jungle, and now migration patterns are reversing. The era of the endless skyline isn't collapsing in chaos. It's fading in slow motion, and the periphery is quietly taking the lead. For decades, cities promised opportunity. Jobs were concentrated there. Universities, hospitals, innovation hubs all clustered tightly together. Young workers flooded in, chasing ambition. Investors followed. Governments built upward, assuming demand would never slow. Growth felt permanent. Expansion seemed inevitable, yet beneath the surface, pressure was building. Housing costs rose faster than wages, commutes lengthened. Infrastructure strained. Families delayed having children because space felt unaffordable. The dream of urban prosperity slowly became a burden. And then, technology rewrote the rules. Remote work was once a niche privilege. Now it is standard practice across industries. A software engineer no longer needs to live within subway distance of a financial district. A marketing team can collaborate across continents without sharing the same building. When work detached from geography, the core advantage of mega cities weakened. Why pay premium rent to sit in traffic when your office fits inside a laptop? As companies embraced distributed teams, employees reconsidered their priorities. Smaller cities offered cleaner air. Larger homes, shorter commutes. Lower taxes, families sought space instead of status. Professionals chased balance instead of proximity, and gradually migration patterns flipped. The numbers tell a quiet story. Net inflows turned into net outflows. Downtown vacancy rates climbed. Luxury condos discounted their prices. Once crowded business districts now struggle to refill office towers. The gravitational pull of mega cities is fading. But technology is only part of the equation. Demographics are shifting worldwide. Birth rates have fallen sharply in developed economies. Aging populations mean fewer young workers moving to urban cores. Without a steady stream of newcomers, population growth stalls. And when growth stalls, economic momentum slows. Meanwhile, climate pressures intensify. Many megacities sit along coastlines. Rising sea levels threaten infrastructure. Heat waves stretch power grids. Insurance costs soar. Governments face the staggering expense of climate adaptation. For some residents, relocation feels safer than resilience. Add to this the political dimension. Urban areas often carry higher living costs and visible inequality. Homelessness, overcrowding, and strained public services erode public confidence. When citizens feel that cities no longer deliver upward mobility, faith in urban life weakens. The result is not collapse, but contraction. Consider what happens when a city stops expanding. Construction slows. Property values stabilize or decline. Tax revenues flatten. Municipal budgets tighten. Public transit systems built for expansion struggle to maintain service levels. Investors shift capital elsewhere. Growth narratives fade. Is this the end of urban dominance or simply a reset? History suggests cities are resilient. They have survived plagues, wars, and financial crises. Yet this moment feels different. The forces reshaping urban life are structural, not temporary. Technology permanently reduces the need for physical clustering. Demographics permanently alter population dynamics. Climate permanently challenges geographic assumptions. In the past, cities competed to grow faster. Now they compete to retain residents. Some governments respond with incentives, tax breaks, housing subsidies, infrastructure upgrades. They aim to lure families back into city centers. Others invest in hybrid urban models, redesigning downtown areas for mixed living, not just corporate offices. Parks replace parking lots. Residential towers replace unused commercial blocks. The mega city of tomorrow may look nothing like the mega city of yesterday. Instead of dense corporate cores surrounded by commuter suburbs, we may see decentralized urban networks. Smaller hubs connected digitally and physically. Communities designed for flexibility rather than sheer scale. Growth measured by quality of life instead of skyline height. But the transition will not be painless. Real estate markets face recalibration. Pension funds tied to commercial property reassess risk. Banks monitor loan exposure to office developments. Local businesses dependent on daily commuter traffic struggle to adapt. When foot traffic falls, revenue follows, and then there is psychology. For generations, moving to a major city was a rite of passage. It symbolized ambition, identity, arrival. What happens when that narrative loses its power? When success is no longer tied to a specific address? Cultural perception shifts slowly, yet once it shifts, it rarely reverses. Young graduates now ask different questions. Not where is the tallest building, but where can I afford a future? Not how close is the headquarters, but how reliable is the internet? Not how prestigious is the zip code, but how sustainable is the lifestyle? These questions redefine aspiration. Still, shrinking does not mean dying. Some cities are using this moment to reinvent themselves. Reduced congestion lowers pollution. Freed office space becomes affordable housing. Streets once dominated by traffic transform into pedestrian corridors. Smaller populations can mean improved services for those who remain. The critical issue is adaptability. Cities that cling to outdated growth models may decline faster. Those that embrace flexibility may stabilize and even thrive. Urban planning now requires humility. Leaders must accept that endless expansion is not guaranteed. But what about the developing world? Many emerging economies still experience rapid urbanization. Millions continue migrating from rural areas in search of opportunity. The story of shrinking mega-cities is not universal. It is concentrated in advanced economies where saturation has been reached. This contrast creates a fragmented global landscape. Some regions expand while others contract. Capital flows adjust accordingly. Talent distributes differently. Global influence subtly rebalances. In 2026, we stand at a crossroads. The age of automatic urban growth appears to be ending. Not with an explosion, but with a quiet recalibration. The skyline may stop rising, yet innovation does not disappear. It disperses. It decentralizes. It adapts. The question is no longer how big a city can become. The question is how well it can evolve. Mega-cities once defined the modern era. They concentrated power, wealth, culture, and ambition into dense vertical clusters. Now, digital networks challenge physical density. Climate challenges geography. Demographics challenge momentum. And perhaps this shift forces a deeper reflection. Was growth the true measure of success, or merely a convenient metric? If cities shrink yet become more livable, more affordable, more sustainable, is that decline or progress? If opportunity spreads beyond a handful of global hubs into smaller communities, is that fragmentation or balance? The end of urban growth does not signal the end of civilization. It signals transformation. The cranes may rest. The skyline may pause its ascent. But human ambition continues, simply untethered from a single place. In the silence of half-empty towers, a new model of living is emerging. less centralized, more flexible, uncertain yet full of possibility. And as megacities contract, one truth becomes clear. The future no longer belongs to the biggest city. It belongs to the most adaptable one.